But in this case, everything you really hear is simply a borrowing. I mean, she sings a song. We're not really looking at the content in either case, but we can see how one song came from the other.
A lot of times in this country, people don't understand the history of the blues, and they don't understand where it came from. Blues is basically progressive rock. If you've listened to Zeppelin, if you've listened to the Stones, you have heard the blues. It's not just this little narrow field where all these old people are playing this rural music that's really sad. It's much, much more than that. But unfortunately, because the blues does not get a lot of commercial visibility, people get a really limited view of what the blues is.
But there was another example also involving Elvis with Chuck Berry. Chuck Berry had a song called Promised Land. Has anybody heard that, or do you know it? It was a minor hit. And this is probably in the 70s, no, this is in the 60s. And the theme of the song is he wants to travel across the country, starting off maybe in a Greyhound bus on the East Coast and eventually winding up in LA or San Francisco. But at some point, he sings, "The hound broke down in Birmingham, left them all stranded." Then the next verse starts, he bought himself a something ticket right across Mississippi clean. And that line of right across Mississippi clean obviously echoes not the record, but the thought behind Robert Johnson's, sun going down, dark don't catch me here. The notion of being black in Mississippi and stuck, where he's trying to get to California. And the song has quite a few points like that. But I always thought it was interesting that when Elvis did the song, and Elvis's typical listeners hear that line, it really probably meant nothing. I mean, it was just like the first line and like the third line. It was part of his travels. So the whole racial aspect of the song, which you really don't hear that much in pop music of the 60s anyway, is ignored in the Elvis remake.
I write a column called Sweet Home in Illinois Entertainer, and I talk to blues musicians all the time about what they think the blues is. And they almost always say, blues is life. It's not sad, it's not, stereotypical struggle, although it is part of that, but it's also raunchy, it's also joyful, it is living your life.
The economic fallout of who is promoted and who's not, who's included and who's excluded, who's calling it outsider art, who's calling it insider art, who's getting paid and who's getting screwed. Now that's the blues.